Snapchat acts as public best friends. Another Bitcoin exchange bites the dust. And is the government collecting our nude photos? It's Monday, April 6th, and this is Crunch Report. Well, Snapchat has made a pretty big privacy change today. The app will no longer share with other people who you snap with most in your best friends list. That always seemed a little bit like a recipe for weirdness. Say if Jennifer was still best friends with Jason on Snapchat, even though she was now dating Jeremy. As of today, that feature is gone, and a new set of friend emojis will remind you, and only you, who you're actually interacting with most on Snapchat. For example, a gold heart means you're just #1 best friends, at least based on your Snapchat usage with each other. A sunglasses face means that you have a mutual best friend with this person. And a smirk face means that you're their best friend, but they're not yours, and they're sending you more snaps than you're giving in return. So there's probably some opportunities here for hurt feelings, but less public ones. By the way, for a creative explanation of all of this, and fascinating snaps in general, you should really follow Josh Constein on Snapchat. A couple other new features. A moon icon at the top of the camera lets you now toggle on and off a low light mode. And now when you're in your friend list deciding on who to send a snap to, a section of people under Needs Love reminds you who you used to snap with a lot, but just haven't lately. A Bitcoin exchange startup called Buttercoin, launched in 2013 and backed by Y Combinator and Google Ventures, is shutting down. But this time it's after failing to raise more money rather than some of the hacks that have plagued and in some cases even shut down other Bitcoin exchanges. In fact, Buttercoin cites a, quote, dip in Bitcoin interest among Silicon Valley investors as the reason that it's folding. In a note on its website, the company wrote that it would be turning off its service on April 10th at 11 p.m. Pacific time, and be sure to move your Bitcoins to another service and remove your dollar balances by then. Unclaimed funds will be returned to the accounts that they came from. Remember when a little credit card-sized computer called the Raspberry Pi made experimenting with hardware and software more accessible to millions of people? As in, around 5 million Raspberry Pis have been sold to date? Well, a new project called Onion Omega is creating an even smaller developer board that runs full Linux and has built-in Wi-Fi on a circuit board that is a quarter of the size of the Raspberry Pi, which was already pretty small to begin with. The Onion Omega is designed to give software developers an easy way to create Internet of Things apps, or IoT, you might see it typed, without having to build new hardware from scratch or even modify existing hardware. Onion Omega runs on a Linux-based OS, has 16 megabytes of storage, 64 megs of RAM, supports USB 2.0, and 100 megabit per second Ethernet. The Kickstarter project smashed its goal of raising $15,000, with 28 days still left to go, so it's safe to say that people are interested. You can pre-order for as little as $25, and the target ship date for the first round of units is in August. Almost 2 years ago, Edward Snowden, former government contractor and whistleblower, leaked the first of many reports of classified American surveillance programs to The Guardian and The Washington Post. So let's fast forward a couple years. What has really changed? Reform? Changes to any of the programs? Well, the Freedom Act, which is a piece of legislation that would have overhauled NSA surveillance programs, didn't even pass a Senate procedural vote last November. Meanwhile, John Oliver, host of Last Week Tonight on HBO, traveled to Russia recently to speak with Snowden, who is currently in exile there. And last night, the show aired their interview, and it's gotten a lot of attention for making a complex issue about civil liberties relatable. So, for example, how many Americans are aware of their rights under Section 215 of the Patriot Act? Probably not very many. But how many Americans understand the concept of a dick pic and the possibility that the government is collecting yours?
Well, the good news is there's no program named the dick pic program. The bad news is they are still collecting everybody's information, including your dick pics.
A new deadline for surveillance reform is coming up on June 1st, which is President Obama's response to Edward Snowden's revelations that Congress must renew or reform the Patriot Act provision, authoring the bulk collection of Americans' phone records by June 1st, or the program will expire. Okay, when's the last time you said to yourself, if only Hulu would really embrace GIFs? Doesn't matter if you have or not, because the streaming video service has already launched a new tool, its own GIF search engine, which is powered by Tumblr and called the perfect GIF, where you can search for and discover TV-related GIFs by tag or by show, or even reaction or action involved. The project can help circulate high-quality GIFs, that's what Hulu is banking on, based on the service's licensed content, but also their original content that isn't seen anywhere else. Hulu GIFs are branded with the hashtag Hulu, as also usually the name of the show and the network logo, so that's going to make a GIF seem a little bit less cool to some of the cool kids, but at least it lets Hulu compete with popular GIF resources like Giphy or Imager. Hulu's site currently features over 1,400 GIFs, which you can search for by tag or show title or filter by show or actions or reactions. Hulu tells TechCrunch that it will add new GIFs to the site within days or weeks after new episodes air, depending on the content, and more GIFs are being added to the current selection of shows on a daily basis. Whew. And that's it for the report today. I'm Sarah Lane. Crunch Report airs Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on TechCrunch.com. We will see you tomorrow.